Okay, hi there boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. Right, got a few games for you, and a little bit of a recurring theme. Well, certainly in games 1 and 3 anyway. Sometimes I think we all forget, we're all a bit guilty of forgetting that the battles that we play in Blitz, they last 7 minutes. Now, quite often it doesn't go anywhere near that far. Most games aren't settled on supremacy points. But quite often you may well find yourself as the lone surviving tank on your team, probably outnumbered. And it's easy at that point just to sort of rush forward and sort of write the game off as a loss. And just try to do as much damage as you can, get as many kills as you can before you eventually just accept the loss. However, there are 7 minutes to play with. Sometimes when you find yourself in that position, you've got a good few minutes to potentially look at what you could potentially do. And there are a couple of games, certainly this one and the third game that we're going to show you, where the players do exactly that and do it incredibly well. So here we are, first of all, with Sasha Luke from GTC 1. She's rolling out in the Annihilator, the new Tier 7 monster fantasy tank. I've actually had this thing in my garage for 2 weeks and still haven't played it. It's crazy. I've got about 3 tanks in my garage and I still haven't got around to playing them yet. Just haven't had time. So I am quite looking forward to getting this one equipped up properly and getting out there and having a bit of a laugh with it. Certainly the replays I've seen quite funny. Yeah, I'm gonna get this one set up and start giving it a bash. Now, Sasha's come around here. Now she's obviously got a difficult target in front of her in the T29. Very troll turret armor there, but she's going to keep plugging away at it. And effectively just whittle this guy down. And not get sort of impatient and try and push forward, and that's exactly what you're going to see this guy in the T29 do. He's become impatient. He's obviously having difficulty getting a pen on. So now that he's sort of reduced down, he's going to go for broke, try and come forward. That means he's exposed his flank, and Sasha takes him out. Whereas, you know, if he'd have held back there in that hold down position, he may well have managed to get 1 or 2 pens in. He may well have got some support from his team. What he actually did was just gave away his tank at the end because he became frustrated with it. So yeah, I mean, Sasha's taken quite a bit of damage, but she's still got about half her hit points left. But this isn't looking particularly great for the green team at this time. They're a tank down. And very, very quickly that goes to being 2 tanks down, and Sasha is now on her own. So she's got, and as you can see by the clock, there's still 4 minutes of this game left to play. Now she's on her own, she's only got half her hit points left, and as you can see, some of the enemy tanks rather healthy. So she's got to be careful here, and I just love the decisions that she makes here. Because she's decided, I'm not just going to give this away. I'm not just going to try and go out in a blaze of glory. I'm going to try and get the win here. Now, these guys all know how dangerous the Annihilator is, so they're very reluctant to push, and Sasha is basically going to take advantage of that. This guy pokes a little bit too far in an effort to get his shot on, so Sasha clears him up, so she's now facing 2 tanks. But as you can see, the red team deciding if they're not going to push on Sasha here, they're going to try and get it by victory points by capping bases. So immediately Sasha jumps into the A cap. To try and slow that process down. Our friend over here has a poke. Sasha takes the bounce and manages to put some damage into him whilst establishing the cap on A. But she really now is in a very, very tough position. She's got a spot on one tank here, but she's facing the same problem that he's facing. Hull down, the Annihilator has a difficult turret to penetrate. So to a certain extent, the guys on the red team here, they could just wait this out and they've got to win. But they don't. They become impatient. and they forget that it's a 7-minute long game and they come in cation. So this guy now pushes round. He just smells blood in the water. He absolutely wants to clear Sasha out. As a consequence of that, he's exposed his lower plate. Sasha manages to get him tracked and stick in some damage. Now he's going to come out and try the same thing again, and that's going to allow Sasha to clear him up. I mean, this was a winning position for Red. Very easy winning position for Red. But in a couple of circumstances, people have just become impatient, and they've given away 2 tanks from a game, frankly, that should have already been won by now. But that's not taking anything away from Sasha's performance here. She's played it absolutely beautifully. So as you can see, there's 1 tank left. It's a med, so he's going to do his best to do a runner and do perhaps what his teammates should have done, and either worked in a coordinated fashion or frankly just waited to win the game on cap points. Sasha obviously recognises the danger here, so instantly jumps into the B cap. See if we can't even this up, or at least give us some time to potentially close in on this guy and get some rounds in. So if you're looking at the cap points at the top there, it's very, very close. But obviously with 2 caps established now, the green team are going to catch up very, very quickly, and there's no way that our friend in the medium tank there really wants to have a poke. So Sasha's going to drive forward now. If she does manage to get shots on him, then so be it. If not, then we're basically banking on the cap points catching up and taking the win. And as you can see, she timed it absolutely perfectly. No room for error there, because that's exactly what happens. I mean, an absolutely outstanding game from Sasha there, but a little bit of impatience from the red team there. Gave away a game that was potentially a win, but no doubt about it. 4,500 damage, 3 kills, ace mastery, just fantastic and patient play from Sasha there. Well done indeed. Okay, and our second game, we have Dennis, the ace mastery monster that he is. Can't wait to get him back playing tanks regularly. Still got some of his ace mastery saved up. He sent me that many of them because he gets that many of them. So he's rolling out tier 9, dead rail in the standard B. For me, arguably one of the strongest medium tanks at tier 9. Basically, Dennis is just going to he's just going to rip these teams apart, really, do what he does best. So he's pushed over here. You can see that none of the meds have pushed this far forward. He's going to come around here. Mr. 88, I don't know what he was thinking, isolating himself off like this. Probably took him 10 minutes to get there because these things are crazy slow. They're awful tanks. I don't know why people drive them. They just drive because they want to get a Death Star and sit back and spawn and hit fire, I suppose. But they're just so easy to kill. I wouldn't have the patience for it, really. But yeah, Dennis gets behind this guy, clears him up pretty easily. And that basically is the only threat from this flank cleared. So now he's going to do what all medium tank drivers love to do, especially on a map like Dead Rail, which is once you've you clear through your flank quickly, get straight to the back of the map on the other flank and start lobbing the shells across at the TDs and the heavies. You know, those fellas who sit at the back of the map and yell at mediums all the time to spot for them. And that's pretty much what's going to happen here. Our friend in the Action 10, he can see he's getting hit from the side. Doesn't make a move to angle his tank, basically just sits there. So Dennis more than happy to throw the shells in. So this guy gets cleared up. Now we've got another heavy down there now, and our friend here, I think he's in a waffle tractor actually. Yeah, we come. And this is the problem sometimes with TD drivers. They get so obsessed with just sitting in one place and hitting fire. He's just sitting there letting Dennis shoot at him because he just can't wait to fire that big derpy gun. And so he's going to get one shot on Dennis. But it's going to cost him his hit point pool. He gave away his hit point pool to try and land one shot. I really do despair sometimes at the guys who drive those big derpy guns. So they really don't realise that their vehicles have tracks on sometimes. I'm sure of it. But yeah. So this guy's given his hit point pool away. So Dennis was quite happy to oblige and chip that one down. Still hasn't racked up another kill yet, which knowing Dennis will be driving him absolutely crazy. That one is taken by somebody else as well. But as you can see, I mean, he's really been pouring in the damage here. He's up to over 4,000 already. And a pretty easy win on the cards for green. Dennis is going to charge forward now. He absolutely wants to get some more kills. He absolutely wants to rack up some more damage. So yeah, he's going to get behind the other waffle tractor here and whack all 3 shells in the mag into him. Thank you very much. That is kill number 2, and we're up to over 5,300 damage now. So pretty easy win, but as you can see, Dennis is a very easy one shot for pretty much anything. He at this point is probably just hoping to get a track, stop this guy coming round, but he doesn't manage it, and unfortunately he does get cleared up. However, the last surviving red tank is very, very quickly reduced down to a one shot, and he is cleared up pretty quickly by the rest of the team for a fantastic win and performance from Dennis there. 5,829 damage, almost 1,500 base XP, and a well-earned ace mastery. Fantastic play. Okay, our third game is from Chariot of Plasma, and this is in the 121B Invincible, the tier 10 medium premium tank. Currently in the store, 15,000 gold. With the old golden dragon camo on it. Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, it's 15,000 gold. Now put that into equivalent in British pounds, that's about £40 for a tier 10 tank. Not going to do the debate as to whether A, whether tier 10 premium tanks should exist, or B, whether it's too expensive, frankly. I mean, it's been done to death. I think I got this tank about 2 years ago. The one thing I will say, apart from just the way it looks, which is fantastic, the one thing I will say about this tank that I enjoy, and it's one of the reasons why it's probably the tier 10 medium I've driven the most, is as many of you will know, once you start hitting tier 10 battles, in some of the tanks, especially some good ones, like the Mouse being a good example, Object 140, T62 and other good examples, unless you have a very good battle, and you know, for these tanks, very good for most of us is pretty average. You know, you need to be doing 3,000-4,000 damage, 3,000 damage say. You need to be getting a couple of kills, making active contributions in the game. If you have a bad battle, or a battle where you only do say 1,500 damage, you'll lose money on that battle. You'll lose credits every single time you hit start. What this allows you to do is to play the style of the tier 10 mediums that are the best mediums in the game at tier 10, the T62 and Object 140, but you can do so knowing that even if you don't have a spectacular battle, but you know, you just have a very, very average one, or maybe even not so good one, you can still earn some credits because you're driving a premium tank. So it gives you the benefit potentially to get more battles in at tier 10 in a medium tank that potentially you might not do in a T62 or Object 140 if you're not a super Unicum player, purely and simply because it will just swallow the credits in your account unless you're playing to a very good standard. So it's a bit more flexible with regard to earnings. Now, whether that's worth 15,000 credits, whether tanks like this should exist, again, all very debatable, all been done to death, and that's not really the point of the video. All I can say is if you've got the gold, it's worth getting, because this is a truly fantastic tank. I love playing this tank. So our friend here has done very well. He's already racked up about 1,700 damage. He's done exactly the right thing for the Canyon map, which is head up onto the what would normally be the B camp area to get spots on for the rest of his team. Now it's not going quite so well. I mean, they are a tank down. He's racked up just over 2,000 damage. Batchat's managed to clear out one of his teammates, so our friend here is going to stick one more shell into the back of him. now wants to come round, close this guy out and take the gun out of the game. I think ultimately he is cleared up by one of his teammates. Yes, he is. So that takes him out of the game. But as you can see, I mean, now the red team, there's still a tank down. However, our friend here evens that up with a lovely drive away shot there. He's up to 2,700 damage, and it's a 2-on-2. Fortunately, the only other teammate he's got with him is a Death Star, who is doing what Death Stars do, which is sitting at the back of the map and typing. So he's got a couple of tanks here that have got plenty of hit points, and effectively, unless he can draw them onto that Death Star, he's not going to get a lot of support from his teammate here, and in fact he's just going to keep poking out at this guy, generally get him away by attrition. Manages to get the kill on him, but very, very quickly the Death Star is taken out and it becomes a 1-on-1. Now, as you can see, he's done a great job. He's looked after the hit point pool of his tanks, but he's still got an enemy heavy out there, and he's actually going to be facing a T-57 heavy that's got most of its hit points. So it's one that you do have to think about. Now, he's not going to be impatient. He's not going to rush around. Very much what I was saying in game number 1. You've got a few minutes, and a few minutes is a long time in this game. He doesn't want to charge about, take damage. He doesn't have to take because he hasn't got the spot on this guy. Now he's seen where T-57 is, and he's going to try and take the opportunity to get some shots in from range. What he doesn't want to do is get up close and personal with this guy so that he can unload that 3-round magazine straight into him. So he's managed to take a little chunk of damage out of him there. He's going to thump some more in there, so that's racked him up to just over 3,800 damage now. So he's now going to come over the top, and he could potentially take a full magazine from this T-57 and still have the time to clear him up. So he's whacked in another shot with no return there. So he's very, very, just by being patient, just by being disciplined, he's managed to stick 4 shots into this T-57 and hasn't taken one back. Now he's going to get up close and personal with this guy and do his best to close this one out. T-57 unloads his second shot. Bounces his third, so he's now on his long reload. There's absolutely nothing he can do, so our friend is just going to do what medium tankers love to do, get behind him, stick it in the back there, unload the shot, and now we're just going to side hug him, cut under his gun, backwards and forwards, wait for the reload and clear this guy up for kill number 3. Absolutely fantastic display of medium tanking there, just over 5,200 damage, 3 kills and a well-deserved ace mastery in a very, very good tank. Well done indeed. Anyway, boys and girls, thank you to our contributors for the video this week. Thank all of you for supporting and watching the channel, and as always, good hunting and bye for now.